Good morning, folks. Bobo here. I've got a busy day ahead of me, so I thought I'd hop on a little early. When I created this channel, one of the things I wanted to do besides telling stories is perhaps interject a couple of jokes I've heard along the way. They're stories too. One of the first ones I ever heard while I was on active duty was at Nellis Air Force Base at a going away party for somebody in 430th TAC Fighter Squadron. Now, I was assigned to that squadron, but not as an aviator. I was assigned as a munitions officer. But at any rate, we went to this going away party one night, and this guy stood up and told this joke, and it just has cracked me up ever since. It seems there were these three guys sitting in heaven, and they got to discussing how they got there. So the first guy said, he said, I was a broker, and he said, I had a slow time during the day. He said, I thought I'd slide home and give Mama a treat. He says, so I get to our apartment building. He says, we were up on the 9th floor. And I go up into the 9th floor, and I start looking around. I found her in the bedroom, and it seems like somebody had already had a treat. Well, that just incensed me. He said, I just couldn't live with that. It was so shameful. So he says, I looked all around for the guy and couldn't find him. He says, then I went over to the window and out the balcony, and he said, I see this guy racing for the entry of our apartment buildings. I thought, my gosh, if I time this right, I can nail him. So I reached over, slid the refrigerator over, and I timed it perfectly. I shoved that refrigerator off the balcony, and it came down, and I nailed him. Well, I turned around, and my wife looked at me and said, honey, she says, you just killed the wrong guy. That wasn't him. And he said, oh my God, he says, I couldn't live with myself. He said, living with the thought that I'd killed someone, he says, I took my pistol out of the nightstand drawer and I just put it into it all. The second guy says, well, he said, I was a lawyer, and he said, I got a call about a car wreck, and he says, man, he says, it sounded like it was going to be a good deal for me. So he says, I grabbed my hat and coat and was heading out the building when all of a sudden this damn refrigerator came crashing down and just nailed me. He says, I wasn't doing anything. So I look over at the third guy, and he's sitting there with a rather smug look on his face, and he says, well, he says, I was a fighter pilot. And he says, all I was doing was just sitting in this refrigerator, minding my own business. Welcome, folks. Talk to you later.